What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Movie Scene. I'm your host, Chris Giddens, and today we have the October 31 Days of Horror episode. So here are the 31 movies that I watched during the month of October, ranked in order of my preference for them. Number 31, The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. I try to rarely badmouth movies due to how much goes into making them, but since even Craven disowned this one, I think we can make an exception. It's so bad that there are so many flashbacks to part 1 that even a dog has flashbacks. Number 30, Toolbox Murders. Something good about this movie. It has the bubbly Sherry Moon zombie, but not very long. If they would have just edited the movie so that it only contained her scenes, then I think it would actually be much, much better. Number 29, Cursed. I so wanted to like this movie, but the only scenario that I can even fathom is that everyone involved had some kind of contractual obligation that they had to fulfill. That's the only thing that really makes sense. But it did have one really funny part, though. Number 28, The Ward. Been there and done that much better before. Some say it's a bad movie that the ending saved, whereas others would say that the ending ruined it. But regardless, it has an identity problem. Number 27, Insidious Chapter 2. I really liked Insidious, so Chapter 2 was a bit of a disappointment, even as far as sequels are concerned. I think someone at some point in time just needed to remind everyone that less is often more, as it ended up being a bit of a busy mess. Number 26, Phenomena. I like Jennifer Connelly. I like Donald Pleasance, I like Iron Maiden and Motorhead, but I don't like Maggots, and I'm not sure if I like this movie. I really don't know what else to say. Maybe I need to watch it again, but I doubt I will. Number 25, Vampire in Brooklyn. I don't understand why so many people don't like this movie. Maybe you guys can explain it to me. Please let me know. What did people expect, honestly? It does drag a little bit near the end, so maybe cutting 5 minutes or so would have worked wonders. I don't think it deserves to be trashed the way it is. Number 24, Invaders from Mars. Actually better than expected, though I did have very low expectations on this one going in. It's a good B-movie remake of a classic B-movie, so don't go in expecting Citizen Kane, and just have a good time watching it. And there are some laughably bad acting moments as well. Number 23, Tenebre. I liked it, but was a little bit disappointed. There's a point when style without substance just becomes meaningless. I get the film, its point and parallels, but ultimately I found it self-indulgent, like the overrated crane sequence. Number 22, The Funhouse. Not the movie I remembered watching growing up, but better than the movie I remember watching. I love carnivals, and so I would have been perfectly happy if nothing major really happened, and the second half of the movie would have just been a continuation of the first half, without it even becoming a stereotypical or conventional horror film. Number 21, The People Under the Stairs. If you're a fan of Wes Craven's sense of humor, which I am, then you're in for a treat with this film. It's very bizarre, a genre-bending movie that often feels more like a David Lynch film, which is ironic when you consider the mommy and daddy characters and their relation to Twin Peaks. Number 20, Scanners. Revok is one of my all-time favorite movie villains, and that final battle is epic. But Stephen Lack is as bad at acting as Michael Ironside is good at being bad. Number 19, Banshee Chapter. This was a scary movie to me, and not one that I recommend that anybody watch after ingesting DMT. You might not want to do that for any movie, but anyway, excellent use of darkness and shadows. Just my one question and what I'm curious about is what the family and friends of Hunter S. Thompson think about the Thomas character. Number 18, Christine. This proves that no idea is too absurd as long as there's good design and execution. Keith Gordon's acting, his transformation in the film was excellent. It was nice to see a non-a-hole jock in an 80s film, and Christine also gets the Harry Dean Stanton seal of approval. Number 17, The Conjuring. There's nothing new here, but it's well crafted and scary from beginning to end, even for non-believers such as myself. It seems that most movies of this nature, at least recently, either underdeliver or just ridiculously go overboard, and The Conjuring instead strikes a nice balance between the two.
Number 16, Rabid.
Very risky decision to cast Marilyn Chambers, but it worked in my opinion. I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed her performance. It's a great movie, disturbing horror film, and it really gets under your skin.
Number 15, Four Flies on Grey Velvet.
As expected, there's plenty of hip style and memorable characters, including the very awesome Bud Spencer, but it's also visually innovative, including freaking bullet time almost 3 decades before The Matrix.
Number 14, Prince of Darkness.
The opening credits last 10 minutes, and that's not a bad thing. The score plays non-stop throughout the entire movie, and that's also not a bad thing. And Blaylock from the Green Team Meat Machine, he appears. That's a great thing.
Number 13, Shivers.
Disturbing as expected from Cronenberg. I love the atypical structure of the narrative and the characters and just the overall design. It's a nice twist on sort of a zombie genre, though you can argue whether they're truly zombies based upon dying, etc., blah, blah, blah. It's an awesome film. It lives up to the name.
Number 12, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
Even with the frequent plot contrivances and the even more frequent bad acting, it reminded me of how much I really enjoy a good murder mystery, so long. It's got excellent cinematography, so long, and a very cool atmosphere, so long.
Number 11, The Innkeepers.
Excellent storytelling, carried by Sarah Paxton in the lead role. I'm now a fan of hers. She was great. The final shot was wonderful. I just wish somebody would have convinced them to cut to black about 2 seconds before they actually did.
Number 10, The Brood.
In the David Lynch episode of Movie Scene, I mentioned watching Eraserhead soon after becoming a new dad. As fate would have it, I watched The Brood right after my son turned 6 years old, and the trauma was similar. So again, I recommend this to everyone in the same scenario.
Number 9, The Cat O' Nine Tails.
Argento might hate his second film, but I enjoyed it even more so than his previous, which I also liked. It's a fun mystery with great characters and music, style, and at times, like the train scene early on, it can just be absolutely brutal.
Number 8, Lifeforce.
This movie is so badass. Alien vampires, zombies, Halley's Comet, psychic links, the plague, evil Patrick Stewart, naked space girl. It's a shame that this bombed at the box office because we need more movies like this.
Number 7, Deep Red.
The culmination of Argento's previous Animal trilogy, he stepped up his game here and also hinted towards the paranormal films of his future. The fairly early reveal of the killer and also that freaking mechanical doll are 2 of the creepiest moments in all of movie history.
Number 6, In the Mouth of Madness.
Very underrated. There's nothing completely new, but that's by design. And any complaints about the plot are made by those who, in my opinion, don't fully get it.
Number 5, The Dead Zone.
An excellent movie that doesn't suffer from the corniness that we often see in adaptations of Stephen King's works with a horror lean. Christopher Walken is just stellar. He deserved an Academy Award nomination for his performance.
Number 4, Resolution.
It should be obvious by now that I'm a fan of metafiction and mind-bending movies that question reality, but Resolution is much, much more. The acting, execution, the atmosphere, all of it is excellent, including it being a story that examines our need for stories, both to tell and also to see and hear. It's just overall a really excellent movie. It's the kind of movie that I would want to make if only I had time, resources, talent, skills.
Number 3, The Silent House.
An excellent movie that brings Hitchcock's rope gimmick to the horror genre, but it's not gimmicky though. Like a good Hitchcock, the purpose is to create and build tension, and there were multiple times during the movie when I realized I hadn't swallowed in minutes.
Number 2, Let the Right One In.
Such a beautiful movie. It almost seems real in that the characters feel like actual people, which makes the relationships and the emotions that much more impactful. and as a result, it makes the acts of violence even more disturbing. I loved it. It's basically the polar opposite of Twilight.
Number 1, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Hilarious and brilliant, it must have been crazy fun for the writers to work out the details after coming up with the overall premise. It's my favorite thing that I've seen so far this month, and I would love to see a sequel. Alright, that's it. The end of 31 Days of Horror Movie Month. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I would love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comments below. Or you can connect with me on Twitter and Instagram. And now we enter Noirvember, so be on the lookout for those videos as well. Thanks for watching.